UFC. But let's get into UFC 288. We're going to kick it off on the prelims in a battle between, and actually the early prelims, in a battle in the UFC's bantamweight division with the bantamweight version of Charles Do Bronx Oliveira and a training partner of Oliveira out of Chuto Box in Brazil, and Daniel the Willy Cat Santos, or Daniel Willy Cat Santos, coming in with a record of 11 victories and 2 defeats, going up against Johnny Kid Kavenbo Munoz Jr., coming back with an identical record and an impressive, respectable record in of his own right of 12 victories with only 2 defeats. So a combined record of 23 victories and 4 defeats between the two. This is a great matchup on the early prelims. This is the early prelim opener between Daniel Santos and Johnny Munoz Jr. Man, I really like Daniel Santos in this matchup. I think that this is a very, very solid matchup for him. And considering he's only minus 155 on the betting line, I think that that's somewhere you're going to want to look at going into this fight night from, looking at it from a betting perspective and looking to make money and make profit. Santos is literally a bantamweight version of Charles Oliveira. He's a 135-pound version of Do Bronx. He walks forward. He puts you on the back foot. He pressures you forward. He has a good clinch game, really solid tie clinch with knees, uppercuts, elbows. He lands upward elbows if he's able to change stances, spinning elbows, front kicks to the body. Loves the front kicks, the in and outside low kicks, or inside and outside low kicks, I should say. He's very good at switching his stances when he pressures you up against the cage. He tries to get you moving laterally and use the cage angle to set up his strikes. I actually talked about that in an earlier breakdown I did on my YouTube channel with Conor McGregor. I broke down his striking game and talked about the cage angle and how he uses that cage angle to land his strikes, because you can't back up in a straight line once you hit that cage wall. So Santos gets you to circle left or right, and whatever side you circle to, usually he'll get you to circle to your left or his right side, and he's going to throw that right hook or a straight right hook, switch stances into southpaw, and try to come over the top with either a straight left hand or an overhand left as you're against the cage, because he's able to get that back foot angle. He's able to get you circling one singular direction, cutting off your potential exit to the other side to potentially avoid the power shot, and using that to propel his straight punches or overhands and get full extension as you're trying to circle away and land it up against the cage, because you're forced to move laterally as you can't move backwards. And if you move forward, you're going to run into the pressure unless you try to tie up in an over-under position or a body lock. He's very good on the ground too. He's been rocked. He has some chin issues, some durability issues that I think could be a problem against Johnny Munoz Jr. But looking at Munoz Jr. on the feet, he has decent striking, but a lot of his best weapons are just the lead hand. He loves to throw that jab. He kind of keeps his hands out in front of him. He reminds me a lot of Brandon Moreno in the way that he high guards and the way that he stands in his fighting stance. And I believe he might train alongside Brandon Moreno. I thought I heard one of the commentators mention that in his fight against I forgot the name of the guy he fought. Jamie Simmons, in the Jamie Simmons fight. But he has that kind of elbows in, but he has his hands flared out. The elbows aren't flared out, but the hands are out. And he uses that to land a very, very solid lead jab. Fighting from the orthodox stance, he's got a very, very good jab. He loves to pop the jab out, loves to pop it out. If he switches southpaw, he'll throw the jab out as well. He'll switch between southpaw and orthodox pretty seamlessly, but the main weapons of Johnny Munoz Jr. are the grappling side of things. He likes to take you down. And the one thing I noticed when he gets those takedowns, he likes to time your forward pressure, shoot it on your hips, and then use the counter takedowns instead of really going for takedowns from an offensive perspective. It's more of a defensive push and pull. He'll push you forward, jab, always angling off on the jab, circling to the lead side, constantly trying to move. He'll get you to counter the pressure with the takedown and get you down to the floor. That's what Johnny Munoz Jr. is very good at, but he likes to stack you up. And it's not a stacked guard, but he almost forces you to lock in or go for the butterfly hooks and go for a potential butterfly sweep from the butterfly guard. He pushes forward, gets the head on top of you, forward pressures, and he likes to sit back with his butt down towards the ground or towards the mat, and he'll get on his feet. That's something you saw from Khabib Nurmagomedov when he would get you or if you had him in the full guard, or if he got you in a stacked guard. And same thing with Islam Makhachev. I see some similarities there, not in terms of overall skill set, but in terms of the weapons they use to grapple. He likes to get you to lock up your full guard, or try to lock up the full guard, and then he will stand up on his feet but kind of lower down in a squat-like position and forward pressure on top of you to get you to break the guard and give you to give up position so he could jump to take your back, put you in a body triangle, and look for the rear naked chokes. If he gets on your back, I mean, I believe he's a brown belt or a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is Johnny Munoz Jr. The kid's grappling is something serious. But against Daniel Santos, I don't think that grappling is really going to do him any favors, because even when Santos is hurt, off of his back, he's scrambling. He's looking to go for sweeps. He's looking to work his way back up to the feet, looking to work for the over-unders, looking to set up arm bars, omoplatas, triangles. He's very active off of his back, even if you do hurt him. So I think that if Santos isn't hurt and they go grappling for grappling, I think the wrestling of Johnny Munoz Jr. is better. I think the jiu-jitsu from the back side control, if he gets back side control, can be a problem for Santos. But I also think Santos' scrambling ability, his ability to lock up submissions, even if he is hurt, go for arm bars, triangles, omoplatas, look to work to back up to the feet. He's constantly so active off of his back. And even if he's rocked, I mean, he got rocked by John Castaneda with a beautiful left high kick twice in that fight and a straight left hand. Basically was dead to rights in that first round. Comes back, forward pressures, puts you on the back foot and broke John Castaneda and landed vicious shots to the body. 1-2, left hook to the body, right hook to the body, tap, tap, rip, rip, knees from inside the tie plunge, elbows, spinning elbows, front kicks to the body. This kid is literally a ball of energy. The Willy Cat is a wacky, waveable, inflatable, arm flailing tube man of forward pressure and energy. And that's exactly what I see in this fight with Johnny Munoz Jr. Yes, Munoz has a better jab, but the overall striking game goes to the bantamweight version of Charles Oliveira and Santos. He's going to forward pressure. He's going to walk forward. I think he'll have the takedown defense to defend the takedowns of Munoz Jr. And even if Munoz Jr. takes him down, he'll have the scrambling ability and the activity off of his back to go for submissions. And even if Johnny Munoz Jr. scrambles to the back, that is a problem for Santos, but I think he's able to, get his back to the mat, try to go back to a half guard position, try to go to the full guard, use that kickoff on the hips, use the kickstand, get up, potentially look for the overhook and the underhook on the other side to stand up to the feet and then get back to the center and go right back on the pressure. I think the pressure of Daniel Santos is going to be way too much for Johnny Munoz Jr. I think he forward pressures him, lands some shots to the body, lands the overall much better, cleaner strikes on the feet, and eventually just gets Johnny Munoz Jr. out of there in the first 2 rounds. I'm going to go with a second round TKO. I think he's going to work the body, work front kicks, the 1-2 switch stance, right hook, straight left as he moves into southpaw, the spinning elbows, the variety that Santos has on the feet, and the ability to absorb damage and get right back on the forward pressure is going to be a problem that I do think will break Munoz Jr. the longer the fight goes. I'm very confident in Daniel Willy Cat Santos. So I'm going to go with Daniel Willy Cat Santos, to defeat Johnny Kid Kavenbo Munoz Jr. by second round TKO. He comes in as like a -180, -160 favorite. I love that line. I think he's a great straight up bet, but I also like to look at Daniel Santos inside the distance by knockout, TKO, or submission. I think if you're going to play one winning method, you take Santos by KO when the props do come out, but I love me some Willy Cat in the opener of this breakdown. And give me Daniel Willy Cat. Let's saying Willy Cat like Santos. Daniel Willy Cat Santos to defeat Johnny Kid Kavenbo Munoz Jr. via a second round TKO. I think he's going to push him up against the fence, land some good shots in the clinch. He's going to land that straight left up against the cage, drop Johnny Munoz Jr. and get him out of there. So give me Daniel Santos via second round TKO against Johnny Munoz Jr.